zoning.
Tax
Tax
classification.
classification.
You can't do that. The Michigan legislature states right in there, tax classification has nothing to do with what goes on with a piece of property prior to zoning. Look it up.
Tax classification or
Has
anything.
nothing to do with it.
That's the way our ordinance is written, though, is towards tax classification.
Exactly. When you get pushed to a point where you have to explain yourself, you have to use whatever it is you have. And that's why that amendment says anything that is in a tax classification prior to whatever date on it, I'm not gonna be able to say that right off the top of my head. That's what you use, and then all of a sudden, the process doesn't ultimately end up being there, the wording does. That's all I can tell you. It looks like from the date of the letter, 2 days, so I think Davies is up today, and the 14 days on the 14 days on the semi one will be up, not the driveway one. Want to discuss the other one for a minute?
Sure. Mr. Price's property is residential. Mr. Shook's property is residential.
Correct.
Okay?
I agree. What are you saying?
Isn't there semi-trailers?
I don't know, I'd have to look.
Mine is residential, mine's agricultural, it's been agricultural for 60 years. I've told you that,
That's the difference.
that's the difference.
That's a big difference. So
I know
Shucks,
Coles don't.
Is it commercial?
Yes, no,
The
it's,
ordinance says commercial.
well, it ain't commercial. That's what I'm trying to get, that piece of property I had surveyed, that's what I'm trying to turn that into commercial. That's why I had it surveyed, and it's supposed to be going through the township.
Yeah, I'm not,
But that's been agriculture charter ever since I've lived there, and I've lived there for 60 years. I used to milk cows down there.
But it's not commercial, right?
No, it's not commercial.
yeah, I couldn't say positively one way or the other. I have looked it up, but
Oh, I've looked at it.
I have to.
Yeah.
I've looked at all those. So what you're, I guess, let me ask you this question, and what you're saying then, is if what's good for the goose is good for the gander, if you're gonna write me a letter with semi-trailers and stuff parked on residential lots, then these other people with semi-trailers should also be getting letters.
What I'm
If-
saying is,
if
if
there are trailers there.
you wrote the ordinance, you tell me. Can you pick and choose?
No, absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
Absolutely not. No.
I didn't think so.
Good for the goose is good for the gander.
No, you wrote the ordinance, right?
You mean, if you're saying, if you're asking me if the village wrote the ordinance, yeah, don't look at me and say, like Doug wrote the
Okay.
ordinance.
Can you pick and choose who you give an ordinance violation
They
to?
know they can't. I just answered, I said, no, absolutely not.
Who's done that?
Absolutely
No.
not. You can't do
Don't
that.
laugh about it. Who's done it?
I'm
That's what I
getting
wanna know.
violations. Pardon me?
I just wanna know who's done that.
I'm getting violations.
Could it be because you might be violating?
We're not real sure how a licensed and legal and drivable trailer landed in a blight ordinance to begin with.
That has an annual sticker on it for the DOT stating it's
Yeah.
licensed and legal. And it's used, and it's not used for storage.
Yeah,
Charlie, you told us when you were wanting to get that thing rezoned and
Yeah?
reclassified, and we thought we could do it at the time, turns out we couldn't, that you would not have anything stored there, no trailers stored there.
Oh, no, it says
You
trailers.
said you would have them parked
Get
there,
it.
here and there, but they wouldn't be stored there for long periods of time.
Never said that. I said there'd be a couple trailers.
Yes, you
Yes, you
did.
did. Yes, you did.
Sure did.
Well,
Yes, you
okay,
did.
wait a
Where's
minute,
that
wait a
letter
minute,
from the
wait a
attorney?
minute. Keep it together. There isn't, like I said, there's not a lot to discuss.
Well, the attorney letter did say a couple trailers there. There was trailers there before I bought it. I
The
assumed
trailers that were there before you bought it came and went.
they were.
Oh.
Doug called me up one day and said, "Charlie, you gotta move that trailer, it's residential." Well, you know what, I bought this piece of property with one check as commercial property, I assumed. because there were semi-trailers there. Doug says, hey, you gotta move that trailer. I said, Doug, it's not my trailer, it's Stinson's. I told him he could leave it there for a year. Dropped it, never heard another word. I put my trailers down there, now it's a problem. That trailer was there for a year after I bought it, and there wasn't
It was your
Problem.
property, do you want us to fine you for it? You know it's Stinson's, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt at that.
oh yeah, right.
Well, I think he's correct when he says that. When you talked to me about Stinson's trailer, it wasn't that you said it was gonna be there a year. You said that you had told him that he could leave it there, and that if ultimately it was gonna be gone, and it just kept going on and on and on and on. Jason makes a very valid point. If we have a problem with a rental place somewhere, we don't only usually send a letter to just the renter, we send it to the guy that owns the property. And if it'd be, you know, if you own whoever owns the property, ultimately is gonna pay for, you know, especially anything like that. It's just like if you take a load out and you load up a trailer at your business with too much stuff on it, and the guy heads down the road with that truck and the stuff falls off from him, whose fault is it? Not yours, the guy that took off with that truck. He owns the truck. He's the one that took the responsibility of driving the truck. They're not gonna come back and get you for that, for loading it. They're gonna get the guy that's got the truck. It's the same way with that. I understand your point, there is no pick and choose. Believe me. No.
I don't feel semi-trailers that are licensed and legal with an annual sticker on them are blight. You explain how they are blight.
I got a question. What is the difference between a commercial driveway and a residential driveway?
With,
Have you got any criteria on that?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would there be any way we could get that?
We went, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. We kinda went through the same process with the driveway issue. We had a lady buy a house in town and remodel it and rip out the sidewalk and we're gonna put in a driveway whatever way they wanted to, and ultimately ended up costing her just shy of $1,000 when we got done. You know, to do things, and that created that driveway ordinance.
How long ago was that?
When the lady rebuilt the house right down by my house.
Oh, okay, because I put a lot of driveways in this town,
Yeah, oh yeah, oh no,
And I didn't
that
know-
is really new.
and I ain't never got a permit.
No,
Never
no,
had to.
no, you would, no,
Every other place I have.
yep,
And,
Oh, yeah.
and in St. John's, for instance, there's no difference in the permit for the commercial or residential, other than how much height it's gotta be when it comes out to the road for the pavement or the asphalt. That's the only difference, there's no width criteria, that's why I asked the question that I did
Yeah,
about how wide it's gotta be.
there's a width criteria, amount of packed gravel you gotta have, and good things like that in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
width and depth.
Yeah.
Julie's gonna make me a copy of that driveway ordinance, I just gave her.
Okay,
So anyway, that's where we're at with the two violations, with you guys. They'll ultimately at the lawyer's hands. I think your question, let me answer one more thing, I guess, as I've thought about it. I think, you know, you have like a legitimate question of why would a totally legal licensed trailer be considered blight? If it isn't, if it doesn't set in a blight ordinance, to just let you know, if it doesn't, it's just gonna end up in another ordinance, it's just specifically for semi-trailers and tractors and stuff like that, and it'll just be called the semi-trailer tractor ordinance. No, I don't think anybody's saying, you know, it makes you think that it's like junk, or, you know, the wheels are off from it or something like that. I think that's probably a part that might be hard for people to swallow. It's really not saying that, it's just saying you can't have that on a residential lot. It doesn't make any difference if it was brand new.
Why did you all decide to block trailers in the village to begin with?
All the complaints we get from all of the other citizens that live in this town about trailers being parked other places. We don't sit out here to represent Diana and Charlie, we represent the whole town. So we gotta listen to them too, and they had problems with it.
I've talked to everybody on Fulton Street, East